Let's talk about placing objects in ArchiCAD relative to one another. I'm going to go over here into the design menu to grab a wall, and you can see we've got a set of 4 walls here. And I'm going to draw, say, an interior wall, so I go over here and maybe type in 6 inches and change the wall to layer to be a wall interior. So if we wanted this wall to, say, have an interior space of 6 feet here, meaning from this inside corner up to the start of the wall would be 6 feet, we can do the following. I'm going to make sure the tracker palette's on, and I'm just going to go down and hover over this point here. And what I can do is just type the letter Y, because this is the Y coordinate here. This is our Y direction here, up and down, whereas this is our X direction, back and forth. This is going back to Cartesian coordinate system. So we're talking about up, meaning the Y direction. So I just hover there, type in Y. Now I'm just going to type in, let's say if I wanted our distance to be 6 feet, type in 6, and then I'm going to type in the plus symbol on the keyboard. So I'm going to hold down Shift and type plus, and we get a guideline up there, and we could start to draw our wall. Let's see here, we're in the wrong mode here. Now we're in the right mode. Click and complete our wall. Go over and measure. You can see we've got an interior distance of 6 feet. Similarly, placing windows, we can go into the window tool and notice my window is going to be placed by the center here. So if we're talking about, say, the outside corner here, I could hover, and this time I'll type the X key because we're going to be going left to right. And maybe I'll type in, let's say 4 feet, and then I'm going to type the Shift key, or the Shift plus. And I get a guideline there. I can click, and I've placed my window 4 feet over. Let's just measure and make sure we've got that right. 4 feet. So let's kind of talk more about our guidelines here. If we have, let's go into Object here, and I'm just going to grab a chair here, and notice we could place our chair by its center point here. So I'm going to click right in the center. That means my chair will be placed from that center point. If I just click inside the drawing, you can see a chair ends up right where I click, right there in the center. So I'm going to delete this one out. Now going back to what we talked a little bit about before, you can go inside, say we're in our object tool, and we can click on these little orange dots that pop up. They'll give us some guidelines. But now we could be relative, say, to this intersection here. And let me just hover right here. And I could type in the Y key again and type in maybe 5 plus. That gives me another guideline up here, where I could then say X -7, then type plus, and I'll end up over here to the left 7 feet. So we can sort of quickly place objects, I should say relatively quickly, and we're not ending up moving or creating a whole lot of unnecessary guidelines. Those guidelines can disappear. Also, if you have guidelines that are left over, you can always right-click and say Remove Guidelines. So that's just how you can place objects relative to one another in ArchiCAD.